Good evening. Welcome to Source 16 News at 10. Thanks for joining us. Details are sketchy at this hour, but emergency personnel responded to a mobile home fire in Oak Grove this evening. According to emergency reports, Oak Grove volunteer firefighters were dispatched to Carter's Mobile Home Park located at 9351 Pembroke Oak Grove Road around 7:20 for a mobile home that was engulfed in flames. Emergency officials say the mobile home, located in the area of Carter and Cindy Streets, was vacant and no one was injured. Well, the city of Hopkinsville will need a budget amendment before the end of the fiscal year. That's what Chief Financial Officer Robert Martin told Hopkinsville City Council members during tonight's meeting. The amendment will be needed for the city's fire department, as they have already used over 60% of their yearly budget. Martin explained that overtime pay is needed for hospital runs that the fire department now provides, and for the 6 new positions they will require. The department has already hired 3 of the 6 positions and are expected to have the remaining positions filled by the end of the fiscal year, which ends on June 30th. And speaking of jobs, council approved a municipal order for the city to receive 1% of all the wages, salaries, and other compensation from employees of the new Denso Air Systems factory. The city will retain the fees for 5 years or until a maximum of $250,000 has been retained, whichever comes first. Mayor Dan Kemp added that Hopkinsville participated more than any other government entity in the incentive package for this project.
And that shows a commitment on the part of the city to make our city grow and to provide jobs for our people. And I know all of us are in agreement that this is a good investment for Hopkinsville.
The council also approved a motion to execute an agreement with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for up to $75,000 in state industrial access road funds that will be used to widen Quinton Court and Commerce Industrial Park 2. Community and Development Services Director Stephen Bourne explained the project's plans.
What we're looking at doing is either widening one side by 12 feet or both sides by 6 feet. In each way, we're getting a 12-foot wide additional lane, so you'll have additional stacking in that specific area. What we did initially was to determine what the cost of that would be, and it was about $150,000.
All other agenda items were approved by the Hopkinsville City Council. Prior to the meeting, 101st Major General Francis Warsinski presented the city a U.S. flag that was flown over the 101st headquarters in Afghanistan. The Hopkinsville Christian County Chamber of Commerce hosted a Small Business Awards breakfast today and recognized 12 local businesses for their services. The businesses that were recognized this morning were Model Cleaners. They received the Century Award for 100 years of service. WBW Engineering received the Commercial Construction Award. Pennyroyal Electric was awarded the Distribution Award. In addition, Harper House Restaurant received the Horizon Award. MSSC was awarded the Industrial Award, while Smith's Concrete received the Residential Construction Award. Meanwhile, Bikes and More received the Retail Award. Charlie's Steakhouse received the Retail and Food Service Award, while Creative Travel Agency was given the Service Award. Also, the Special Services Award went to the Pennyroyal Radiology, while the Sunset Award went to Buck's Lady Shop. And finally, the Nonprofit Award went to the Boys and Girls Club of Hopkinsville Christian County. The breakfast was sponsored by Source 16's parent company, New Wave Communications.
And we recognize small business. That's part of our business, is providing residential phone, commercial phone, and commercial internet. So it's very important to us. That's part of our business.
According to Chamber President Carter Hendricks, small businesses make up 80% of the Chamber's membership. A Hopkinsville man was taken to a Nashville hospital after a motorcycle versus vehicle head-on collision on Fort Campbell Boulevard this afternoon. Hopkinsville Police Spokesman Officer Paul Ray told Source 16 News that the motorcyclist, 20-year-old Stephen Garbrandt Jr., was transported by ambulance to Jenny Stewart Medical Center and was being transferred to Vanderbilt Medical Center for a serious leg injury. Ray says the wreck occurred around 1 o'clock when 33-year-old Amanda Mosley of Crofton pulled out of the Pennyroyal Finance parking lot into the center turn lane to travel north on the boulevard and collided head-on with Garabrant, who was driving south. According to Ray, Mosley and her passenger were not injured in the wreck. Meanwhile, US 41 in Hopkins County was shut down for hours today, and an unidentified man was life-flighted to a hospital after a Kentucky Transportation Cabinet dump truck and a pickup truck crashed head-on. Around 11 o'clock, the driver of the 1996 Chevrolet pickup truck was northbound on US 41A just north of Manitou when state police say he crossed the center line and collided head-on into the dump truck driven by 22-year-old Jonathan Pearson of Sturgis. State Police spokesman Stu Recchi told Source 16 that the driver of the pickup truck was flown to a hospital in the Evansville area. He told Source 16 that there were conflicting reports regarding the driver's name, and the man had been flown from the scene before troopers were able to get his identity. Police report the driver of the dump truck, Pearson, was not injured in the wreck. Motorists were detoured around the wreck scene, and US 41A was reopened to traffic around 3:30 this afternoon. A local previously convicted felon who violated his supervised release was sentenced in federal court today for drug trafficking and possessing a firearm. According to U.S. Attorney David Hale, 32-year-old Bobby Lee Wooden Jr. of Hopkinsville was sentenced to 46 months imprisonment for possession of a controlled substance with the intent to traffic and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. In addition, Wooden was sentenced to 24 months imprisonment for committing the offenses while on supervised release. U.S. District Judge Thomas Russell ordered the sentences to be served consecutively. Wooden served 4 years supervised release and forfeit over $12,000 in personal items, including a .25 caliber pistol. Court records indicate that on April 14, 2010, in Hopkinsville, about 20 pounds of marijuana and a Raven Arms .25 caliber pistol were found in Wooden's apartment. At the time, court records indicated that Wooden was a convicted felon on supervised release, having been convicted on July 24, 2006 of conspiracy to distribute marijuana in the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Tennessee, marijuana within 1,000 yards of a school. Meanwhile, a Hopkinsville man was sentenced to spend a decade behind bars. Christian County Circuit Court Judge Andrew Self formally sentenced 36-year-old Michael Mosby to 10 years in prison for second-degree manslaughter, which will run concurrently with another unrelated charge of a convicted felon possessing a handgun. As previously reported by Source 16, Mosby was involved in the February 2009 shooting death of Desmond Welch of Crofton. Michael Mosby entered a guilty plea in September to second-degree manslaughter, which under his plea deal granted him a 10-year sentence. Meanwhile, Mosby's co-defendants, Maurice Lane, was sentenced to 5 years in prison, while Robert Lewis was sentenced to 20 years in prison for their roles in the murder. In addition, Philip Green, who is the last of the 4 individuals involved in the murder, took a plea deal last month for a 2-year prison sentence for failing to report at 8 at the William Bill Cherry Agricultural Exposition Center. Featured events include bull riding and barrel racing. Children 10 and under can even get in on the fun. The calf scramble is for ages 10 and under, while the mutton busting is for ages 6 and under. Tickets are available at the door and cost $12 for the general public, $10 for Murray State University students with valid ID, and $5 for children ages 12 and under. To participate in the featured events or for more information, you can contact Parson and Myloma Rough Stock Contractors and Promoters at 731-642-8346. After canceling his book signing at the last minute 2 weeks ago due to bad weather in Dallas, former President George W. Bush will be visiting Fort Campbell this week. Tomorrow morning, the former president will be signing hundreds of copies of the best-selling memoir, Decision Points, to local troops and their families. The former president visited Fort Campbell 3 times during his presidency. Well, we now have more details about a story you heard last night during the 10 o'clock news regarding a request to downsize Mayfield City Council that was once again rejected. Councilman Wayne Potts requested to reduce the council from 10 to 7 members during last night's meeting, saying it will save the city money.
I'm for smaller government. This will not adversely affect the budget. Should all council members attend all the training and all the...
We represent the people of the city well, because we've got so many boards now, things that we're on. You know, I'm on 3 myself, representing the city. So if you reduce the number of council members, you're gonna have to put more people on these boards. So I like the way it is now.
The ordinance was rejected by the council in an 8-2 vote, with Councilman Potts and Councilman Jonathan Stinson voting for the change. Potts made the same request 6 years ago. The council also gave Mayfield City Attorney Boyd Neely the authorization to pursue legal action against a former Mayfield police officer. The officer broke the contract with the department when he or she decided to relocate. If a contract is broken, prorated pay is expected. No payments have been made since the officer left. The council also gave Neely authorization to pursue legal action against 3 post office workers that have neglected to pay payroll taxes for several years. Payroll taxes are not automatically taken out of Mayfield Post Office employee paychecks. Taking a look at tonight's Mega Millions jackpot, it's $40 million, and Wednesday's Powerball jackpot is $101 million.